The Galactic Council's chief scientist, Valenics, stood motionless before the quantum display, his crystalline form pulsing with increasing frequency as he studied the readings. The data couldn't be correct. He calibrated the long-range sensors himself, yet they showed impossible energy signatures from an unexplored sector of the galaxy. Administrator Kinra, Valenics called out, his harmonic voice resonating through the observation chamber. "You need to see this." The administrator, a being of pure energy contained within an ornate metallic frame, glided across the chamber. Other researchers paused their work, sensing the urgency in Valenics's tone. The readings showed vessels accelerating at speeds that should have torn them apart, executing maneuvers that defied the laws of physics, and maintaining structural integrity under conditions that should have reduced them to atomic particles. Origin. Kinra demanded, her energy field fluctuating with concern. Sol system, third planet. They call it Earth. Valenics manipulated the holographic display, zooming in on a small blue world. They haven't even established colonies beyond their moon, yet they're ships. Impossible, Kinra whispered, watching as another vessel performed what their sensors indicated was a casual violation of 3 fundamental laws of physics. Dispatch observation teams immediately. Full stealth protocols. Within hours, the Council's most advanced stealth ships positioned themselves around Earth's solar system. What they observed left them questioning everything they thought they knew about space travel. A small transport vessel, designated Carson's Pride by their intelligence systems, moved through space with a grace that shouldn't have been possible given its primitive construction. The human pilot's voice crackled over their monitored communications. "Control, this is Carson's Pride, requesting clearance for standard cargo run to Luna Base. Cleared for departure, Carson. Weather warning for solar winds in your path. Adjust accordingly." "Copy that." Taking the scenic route. The observers watched in astonishment as the ship executed a series of maneuvers that their own vessels, with all their advanced technology, couldn't replicate. The human pilot was whistling during the entire sequence. How? Valenics demanded of no one in particular. Their power systems are barely beyond fusion technology. They shouldn't be able to. "Sir," one of his junior researchers interrupted, "you need to see these maintenance logs we intercepted." The logs revealed something even more astounding. The humans weren't using any revolutionary technology. They had simply found ways to make existing physics work differently through what they called practical solutions to annoying problems. A human engineer had noted in one log, "Found out if you reverse the polarity on the magnetic containment field and sync it with the ship's natural harmonic frequency, you can cut power consumption by 60% and get better handling in tight turns. Plus, it stops that annoying vibration in the mess hall that was making everyone's coffee spill." Valenics's crystalline form flickered rapidly as he processed this information. These humans weren't just ignoring the laws of physics. They were casually finding loopholes in them because the existing rules were inconvenient. The Council observation team watched for weeks as human ships of all sizes demonstrated capabilities that should have required technology centuries beyond their current level. More fascinating still were the conversations they intercepted. "Hey, Marcus, remember that issue with the quantum field destabilization during high-speed turns?" "Yeah, solved that last week. Turns out if you modulate the field frequency to match your playlist's bass line, it naturally stabilizes." "Who knew?" "Seriously, that's what you did." "Hey, it works. Haven't lost a single coffee cup since." As Valenics compiled his report for the Galactic Council, he struggled to find words to describe what they'd witnessed. How could he explain that humans were achieving the impossible not through advanced technology or deep understanding of quantum mechanics, but through what they called tinkering until it works? The final straw came when they intercepted plans for a new drive system that essentially told Einstein's laws of relativity to take a coffee break. The design notes included comments like, "If we pretend quantum entanglement doesn't care about distance, which it probably doesn't anyway, we can make ships go faster by just asking space nicely to move out of the way." We need to make contact, Valenx finally announced to Administrator Kinra. Not because we have something to teach them, but because they might accidentally solve the universe's greatest mysteries while trying to make their morning commute more convenient. Kinra's energy field pulsed with agreement. Prepare a diplomatic team. And she paused, her field flickering with what might have been amusement. Make sure they bring coffee. I have a feeling we're going to need it. The first official contact between the Galactic Council and humanity took place in what humans called a garage attached to the International Space Station. Valenx and his team had expected a formal diplomatic chamber. Instead, they found themselves surrounded by tools, spare parts, and the perpetual scent of what humans called engine grease. Captain Maya Rodriguez wiped her hands on a rag as she examined the holographic display of the Council's most advanced dry system. Her expression wasn't one of awe, as the alien delegation had expected, but rather the look of someone spotting room for improvement. So you're saying you can't exceed these velocity parameters because of quantum field destabilization? She asked, pointing to a complex equation floating in the air. Correct, Valenx replied, his crystalline form gleaming under the station's harsh lighting. The fundamental laws of physics make it impossible to. Hey, Marcus. Maya called out to a young engineer who was tinkering with what appeared to be a coffee maker modified with spacecraft parts. Remember that thing you did with the resonance harmonics last month? Could we apply that here? Marcus wandered over, coffee in hand, and studied the display. Oh yeah, that could work. If we treat the quantum field like a rubber band, instead of a brick wall. He made a few casual adjustments to the equations that made Valenx's sensors spark in protest. But that violates the third law of quantum dynamics. One of the alien scientists exclaimed, their energy form flickering with distress. Does it? Maya asked, genuinely curious. Or does it just suggest the law needs updating? Marcus, remember when we found out about the coffee maker thing? Marcus grinned. You mean when we discovered that the vibration from the station's coffee maker was accidentally creating a stable micro-wormhole? That was a fun day. The quantum physics team still hasn't stopped crying. Valenx's form pulsed rapidly as he processed this information. You discovered stable micro-wormhole technology through a beverage preparation device. Well, not on purpose, Maya shrugged. We were just trying to figure out why the coffee tasted better on Tuesdays. Turned out the machine was briefly aging the beans through a time distortion. Makes a great cappuccino once you calibrate it right. The alien delegation watched in a mixture of horror and fascination as the humans began casually redesigning technology that had taken the Council centuries to develop. Maya and her team approached each impossible problem with what they called garage logic. If it didn't work one way, try another, and keep trying until something clicked. Look here, Marcus said, pointing to a particularly complex section of the Council's dry schematic. You're trying to force space-time to do what you want. We found it works better if you ask nicely. Ask nicely. Valenx's translator struggled with the concept. Yeah, work with the natural flow instead of against it. It's like surfing. You don't fight the wave, you ride it. As if to demonstrate their point, the station's proximity alerts blared. A small cargo ship was approaching, but its trajectory seemed impossibly erratic. Don't worry, Maya assured the alarmed alien delegation. That's just Kelly testing the new maneuvering system. She found out that if you match the ship's resonance frequency to her playlist's rhythm, you can pull off some pretty sweet moves. Through the viewport, they watched as the cargo vessel executed a series of maneuvers that should have torn it apart. The pilot was apparently listening to something called jazz fusion. This defies all known laws of physics. One of the alien scientists protested. Maybe the laws are more like guidelines. Marcus suggested, making another adjustment to the coffee maker. Anyone wants some quantum-aged espresso? It's from next Tuesday. Valenx turned to his fellow council members, his crystalline form pulsing with what might have been resignation. I believe, he said carefully, We need to reconsider our approach to scientific advancement. Oh, that reminds me, Maya interjected. We've been meaning to ask about your FTL communication system. We think we can improve its efficiency by about 300% using a modified toaster and some principles we discovered while trying to fix the station's karaoke machine. As the alien scientist struggled to process this statement, Marcus raised his coffee cup. To innovation, he grinned. Sometimes the best way to advance science is to not realize something's supposed to be impossible. Vale X watched as the humans continued their work, casually rewriting the laws of physics between sips of time-displaced coffee. He had come to teach, but instead found himself learning a valuable lesson. Sometimes the greatest breakthroughs come not from understanding all the rules, but from being too curious and stubborn to accept that they can't be broken. The emergency alert reached Earth's Space Command at 3:47 a.m. local time. Captain Maya Rodriguez was halfway through her midnight coffee when the quantum communicator erupted with Valianx's urgent message. "We need your help." The crystalline scientist's harmonic voice carried an unfamiliar note of fear. The Rigel system is experiencing a cascading quantum collapse. Billions of lives are at risk. Maya straightened in her chair, setting aside her coffee. On her holographic display, data streamed in showing the catastrophe unfolding 40 light-years away. A quantum singularity had formed near Rigel's primary colony world, defying all known physical laws. The Galactic Council's most advanced ships couldn't get close enough to attempt a solution. "Send me everything you have," Maya said, already connecting to the emergency channel. "And get me Marcus. He's going to want to see this." Within an hour, the ISS's garage-turned-laboratory was packed with both human and alien scientists. Marcus stood before the main display, coffee in hand, studying the quantum readings with a frown. "So the singularity is basically eating space-time?" he asked, manipulating the holographic model. "Precisely," Vale confirmed. "It's expanding at an exponential rate. Our best models predict total system collapse within 72 hours. Our ships can't approach within 10 million kilometers without their quantum fields destabilizing." Maya watched the simulation cycle through another iteration. "What happens if we try to reverse the polarity of the quantum field?" "Impossible," one of the alien scientists interjected. "The energy requirements alone would." "No, wait," Marcus interrupted, his eyes lighting up. "Remember that thing with the coffee maker? The accidental time distortion?" Maya snapped her fingers. "The resonance frequency. If we could match the singularity's quantum oscillation pattern and sync it with a modified version of Kelly's playlist algorithm." The alien delegation watched in bewilderment as the two humans began rapidly modifying equations, occasionally referencing what appeared to be coffee stains on old maintenance logs. "This is insane," Vale protested, his crystalline form flickering with agitation. "You cannot approach a quantum singularity using principles discovered through beverage preparation and musical entertainment." "Why not?" Marcus asked genuinely. "The universe doesn't care where good ideas come from. Look here." He pointed to a particular set of calculations. "The singularity's got a rhythm to it. It's not chaos. It's more like a really complicated dance." Maya nodded, making another adjustment to their model. "And if we can match that rhythm, maybe we can lead it in a different direction. Like in that zero tango class we had last month." "You learned to dance in zero gravity?" Vale asked, momentarily distracted. "Sure, great way to understand spatial dynamics. Plus, it was fun." Speaking of which, Maya pulled up the specs for Earth's newest experimental vessel. The Stardancer was designed to test those new harmonic drive principles. If we modify her quantum field generators, Marcus was already running simulations, we'd need to boost the power output by at least 300%. The coffee maker's quantum capacitor might work. "You want to power an experimental spacecraft with a coffee maker? Got a better idea?" Marcus grinned. "Actually, yeah. Remember that karaoke machine modification we were working on? the one that accidentally created a temporal feedback loop. The next 12 hours were a blur of activity that left the alien scientists alternating between horror and amazement. Humans from space agencies around the world joined the effort, contributing ideas that ranged from brilliant to seemingly insane. Yet somehow each suggestion built upon the last, creating something entirely new. They called it the resonance drive, a hybrid system that incorporated principles from quantum physics, music theory, and what Marcus described as that weird thing that happens to toast when you're in a hurry. This cannot possibly work, Valenk stated, reviewing the final design. You've violated at least 15 fundamental laws of physics. Maybe, Maya agreed, studying the holographic blueprint. But has anyone ever actually tried to break those laws in this particular way? Of course not. Valenk paused, his crystalline form dimming slightly. Actually, I don't know why not. That's the spirit. Marcus clapped the alien scientist on what approximated his shoulder. Sometimes you have to try the impossible just to see what happens. Worst case scenario, we learn something new. Best case, we save billions of lives. As the Stardancer was rapidly modified according to their insane but mathematically sound plans, Maya couldn't help but smile at the sight of alien and human engineers working side by side, breaking all the rules together. You know, she said to Valenk, even if this doesn't work, we're making history here. First time the galaxy's best minds have come together to try something this crazy. Valenk's form pulsed with what might have been amusement. Perhaps that's the most important discovery of all, that sometimes the best solution is to embrace the impossible. Speaking of impossible, Marcus called out from across the lab, who wants quantum-aged coffee from next week. The machine's working overtime to power the simulations, but it makes a great espresso as a side effect. The fate of billions now rested on human ingenuity, alien technology, and a healthy dose of what Valenk was learning to call garage logic. The Rigel system's clock was ticking, but for the first time since the crisis began, there was hope, even if that hope came with a side of temporally displaced caffeine. The Stardancer emerged from Earth's orbital shipyard, looking like something assembled in a fever dream. Its sleek hull bristled with retrofitted quantum resonators, and what had once been the station's karaoke machine now formed the core of its revolutionary drive system. In the pilot's seat, Kelly Chen ran through her pre-flight checklist while queuing up her carefully selected playlist. Mission Control, Stardancer ready for quantum jump, Kelly reported, her voice steady despite the experimental nature of everything around her. Marcus, how's our coffee-powered quantum matrix holding up? Marcus's voice crackled through the comm from his station in the engine room. Quantum harmonics are stable. The espresso machine is pulling a perfect shot every 3.7 seconds, keeping our field generators in sync. We're as ready as we'll ever be. In the ISS observation deck, Maya and Valenk watched as the Stardancer prepared for its impossible mission. The alien scientist's crystalline form pulsed with nervous energy as he reviewed the latest data from the Rigel system. The singularity has consumed 3 more stellar bodies, he reported. Your ship must reach the affected zone within 6 hours to have any chance of success. Kelly, Maya called over the comm. Remember, this isn't just about flying fast. You need to feel the rhythm of space itself. Like in Zero dance class, let the void be your partner. Copy that, Captain, Kelly replied. I've got the perfect beat for this dance. The Stardancer's engines hummed to life, but instead of the usual roar of plasma drives, the ship emanated a complex harmonic tone that seemed to resonate with the fabric of space itself. As the first notes of Kelly's carefully chosen music began to play through the ship's modified systems, the quantum field generators pulsed in perfect sync. Beginning quantum displacement sequence, Kelly announced. Fair warning, this might look a little weird from the outside. Weird was an understatement. The Stardancer didn't so much fly through space as dance through it. The ship's movement matched the rhythm of Kelly's music, each maneuver flowing into the next like a choreographed performance. Space itself seemed to ripple around the vessel, responding to its unconventional approach to physics. "This is impossible," Vail-Anx whispered, watching as the Stardancer achieved velocities that made his instruments short out. "They're not just breaking the laws of physics, they're making the universe dance with them." In the engine room, Marcus monitored the quantum harmonics while making minute adjustments to what he called the cosmic rhythm section. The ship's coffee maker continued its vital role, each perfectly timed espresso shot somehow helping to stabilize the quantum field. "Kelly, we're approaching the theoretical limit for our quantum resonance," he reported. "How's it feeling up there?" "Like surfing on sound waves through space," Kelly replied. "The void's got rhythm, Marcus. We just needed to find the right song to bring it out." The Stardancer's approach to the Rigel system defied every known law of physics. The ship moved through space-time like a leaf dancing in the wind, each movement precisely calculated yet seemingly impossible. The quantum singularity's destructive force loomed ahead, its chaotic energy threatening to tear apart the fabric of reality. "Beginning final approach," Kelly announced. "Time to see if our theory about quantum harmonics was right. Marcus, give me everything the coffee maker's got." The ship's systems thrummed with power as Kelly guided it into a complex series of maneuvers. The Stardancer wasn't fighting against the singularity's pull, it was dancing with it, matching its chaotic energy with carefully orchestrated movements. "The singularity's quantum signature is shifting," Vail-Anx exclaimed, his sensors detecting something unprecedented. It's synchronizing with your ship's harmonic frequency." Kelly's music reached a crescendo as the Stardancer executed its final sequence. The ship spun through space in a pattern that looked more like an elaborate dance move than a scientific procedure. But somehow, impossibly, it was working. The quantum singularity's chaotic energy began to flow into new patterns, guided by the Stardancer's resonant field. "It's like teaching a tornado to waltz," Kelly commented, her hands flying over the controls as she kept the ship in perfect rhythm. "Marcus, how are we looking?" "The quantum field is holding," Marcus reported excitedly. "The singularity is actually following our lead. We're actually doing it." On the ISS, Maya and Vail-Anx watched in amazement as the impossible unfolded before them. The destructive force that had threatened to consume an entire star system was being transformed through what could only be described as a cosmic dance. "I don't understand," Vail-Anx admitted, his crystalline form flickering with confusion and awe. "How did you know this would work?" Maya smiled, watching as the Stardancer continued its performance. "We didn't, but we figured if the universe has laws, it must have rhythm too. Sometimes you just have to ask it to dance." As the crisis began to resolve itself, Vail-Anx realized he was witnessing more than just a scientific breakthrough. This was humanity's gift to the galaxy, the ability to see beyond the impossible, to find solutions in the most unlikely places, and to dare to dance with the cosmos itself. 6 months after the Rigel crisis, the Galactic Council's Grand Chamber was packed with representatives from 1,000 worlds. The ancient hall, usually a place of measured debate and careful protocol, buzzed with excitement as Maya Rodriguez stepped onto the speaker's platform. Behind her, Kelly Chen and Marcus Thompson tried not to look too amused at the formal ceremonial robes they'd been asked to wear. "When we first encountered your civilizations," Maya began, her voice carrying across the vast chamber, "you thought we were breaking the laws of physics. The truth is, we were just asking different questions." The holographic display behind her came to life, showing the Stardancer's historic dance with the quantum singularity. The ship's movements, synchronized with Kelly's carefully chosen music, had become the most studied footage in galactic history. "Humanity didn't set out to revolutionize space travel," Maya continued. "We were just trying to make our ships run better, our coffee taste better, and our music sound better in zero gravity. But somewhere along the way, we discovered something important. The universe isn't just governed by laws, it's alive with possibilities." Brilliance, now head of the Council's new Human Principles Research Division, stepped forward. His crystalline form glowed with enthusiasm as he addressed his fellow council members. In the 6 months since the Rigel crisis, we've begun incorporating human methodologies into our research. The results have been— He paused, his translator searching for the right word— revolutionary. The display shifted to show new ship designs, hybrid technologies that merged alien precision with human intuition. Council shipyards were now equipped with what they called garage spaces, areas dedicated to experimental tinkering and unconventional problem-solving. Last week, Marcus added, stepping forward with his ever-present coffee cup, we had a breakthrough in quantum communication. Turns out if you modulate the signal frequency to match a jazz rhythm, you can achieve instant transmission across any distance. Who knew the universe was a music fan? Laughter rippled through the chamber, but it was laughter of recognition. Across the galaxy, scientists and engineers were learning to embrace what humans called garage logic, the art of finding solutions in unexpected places. But perhaps our greatest discovery, Kelly said, taking her turn at the platform, wasn't technological at all. It was learning that the best way to understand the universe is to dance with it, not fight it. The display showed footage from the new Galactic Science Academy, where human instructors taught alien students the principles of improvisation and creative problem-solving. One class showed a group of energy beings learning zero-gravity tango, their forms weaving complex patterns that mirrored quantum field interactions. We've established joint research teams on every major council world, Maya explained. But these aren't just scientific missions. They're cultural exchanges, bringing together different ways of thinking, different ways of seeing the universe, and different ways of making coffee, Marcus added with a grin, earning more knowing laughter from the assembly. Brilliance's form pulsed with pride as he displayed the latest statistics. Technological advancement across council space had accelerated exponentially. Problems that had stumped alien scientists for centuries were being solved by mixed teams using what was now officially termed human perspective integration. But this is just the beginning, Maya concluded. There are still so many questions to ask, so many impossible things to try. The universe is vast, and we've barely begun to explore all its possibilities. As if to emphasize her point, the Stardancer's new sister ships appeared on the display. A fleet of vessels that combined the best of human innovation with alien technology. Each was equipped with what had become standard features: quantum resonance drives synchronized to music, coffee makers that doubled as quantum stabilizers, and most importantly, spaces dedicated to what humans called figuring things out. The future of space exploration isn't about following rules or breaking them, Maya said, looking out over the assembled representatives of 1,000 worlds. It's about understanding that the universe itself is an endless dance of possibilities, and everyone is invited to dance. As the chamber erupted in applause, Brilliance turned to his human friends. You know, he said, his crystalline form glowing warmly, I still don't understand how you knew all of this would work. Marcus smiled, raising his quantum-aged coffee in a toast. That's the best part. We didn't. We just knew that the only way to discover the impossible is to try it. Above them, on the massive display, the Stardancer danced its way through space, a symbol of what could happen when innovation and imagination came together. The ship's quantum wake left a trail of possibilities in its path, a reminder that in the vast dance of the cosmos, there was always room for one more impossible thing. And somewhere in the Rigel system, where a quantum singularity had once threatened billions of lives, a new type of space-time anomaly had formed, one that hummed with a rhythm that sounded suspiciously like jazz.